Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican. Today, I am with Zeph, who is an organizer with the Red Republicans, and we're going to be talking about some of the work they've been doing in the Treasure Valley in Idaho. Zeph, thank you for coming on,
Thanks for
and
having me, John.
sure, please tell us about some of the great organizing work you've been doing
Yeah,
lately.
absolutely. We're the Red Republicans. I'd say we just call ourselves socialists, and we're for the working class. We're a working class organization, and we're trying to do mutual aid, and we're trying to give working class people the facilities and organs they need to administer their own lives. In this country, the working class people are being stolen from, and day in day out when they go to their jobs, the fruits of their labor aren't being given to them, and that's where we come in. We're trying to educate and equip the working class people with the tools they need in order to have a stable life.
All right, thank you. So I
Of
understand
course.
you've been doing some organizing. I've heard that you've been doing some work with unions. I've heard you've been doing some study groups and doing some mutual aid. You want to give us an update on those activities?
Yeah, absolutely. And without getting too into the nitty gritty, right now, we're doing our best to enter into the unions and combat the labor bureaucracy, which doesn't have the working workers within the unions' interests in mind. They have, alien interests, the interests of the financiers and the lobbyists that are, uh, paying out into their checkbooks to those bureaucrats. And what we're trying to do is build up real working class power within the unions, and within union trade councils, which are just collective sort of representation organs of unions, namely the AFL-CIO. And then we're also building up people to become organizers like myself, like my other organizers in the organization. So that's what we're doing in our study groups. We get together. There's multiple currently running study groups in both in the Treasure Valley and out in different states. California, Virginia, Connecticut, et cetera, New York, and yeah. So working on that as well as starting up some mutual aid out here in the Treasure Valley. I know that there's some work being done by some anarchists down in Boise, but we're also working out in Nampa. We're working out in Caldwell. We're trying to build up some real revolutionary mutual aid. I think a lot of the time when people talk about mutual aid, it ends up being pretty one-to-one with just a liberal charity, right? They simply just distribute supplies, etc., and that's all they do. What we want to do is we want to naturally, also give people the things they need to survive out here, but we also want to equip them with the knowledge that they need in order to um, speak to the alienation situation, right?
Okay. Um, so what has been the theory guiding your practice with mutual aid?
Well, John, I wouldn't say I subscribe to any, specific tendency. I wouldn't say I'm a Leninist or Maoist or any of that. What I would say is the principle that has been guiding our mutual aid, that has been guiding, all of our organizing work and giving to the community, has been that uh, we know the enemy, and that's really what it is. We understand that within the society, there's two interests, namely, there's the interest of the workers who must naturally sell their labor in order to meet their economic subsistence, right? And there's the interests of the owner, of the financier class, of the Wall Street lobbyists, et cetera, what have you, that only want to own and want to distance themselves from the productive process as much as possible. You look at people now in modern age like Jeff Bezos or like these multi-billionaires who now don't even need to sit in boardroom meetings or to take care of their own stock portfolio. They have large hedge funds that do that for them. They own the food you eat. They own the entertainment you watch. They own the services and the products you buy. They own the houses you live in, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell the working class that you have a real enemy who is stealing from you, and we're here to change that. We're here to create a society where because these workers, because we produce everything at every stage in the game, whether it be from packing, whether it be from actually creating the materials, whether it be shipping, whether it be at the service end, handing out these products. Workers are producing at every stage. It is only so natural that they should.
Okay. Are there any groups that you've taken inspiration from?
Well, I would say we take a sort of mythos from the working class movement in the states. We believe that there's two stories of America. There's the America of the owning class, the America of the financiers, and then who have for all intents and purposes lied to the working class. And then there's the working class who have believed these lies, who have believed this mythos of uh, Ellis Island. Give me you're poor, you're hungry, you're starving. And they believed in the American dream, and these promises have been completely how do you say it, not been fulfilled, right? And so if there's anything that sort of drives us forward that we've taken inspiration from, it's been from this mythos. It's been we need to make this mythos a reality. We need to let the working class know that there is a way to have a pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness.
Very nice. What sets you apart from other groups doing mutual aid?
Well, I'd say it's the revolutionary aspect we bring into it. I believe I mentioned earlier, a lot of the time, mutual aid is kind of just like liberal charity. It's kind of just, which, for all intents and purposes, it's a net positive, right? You're distributing supplies to the people that so desperately need it. But at the end of the day, it's only addressing a symptom and not the cause. And I think what sets us apart is, we're trying to address that cause and the symptom. And in doing so, we believe, the people we're distributing supplies to, the people we're trying to help out, whether it be through securing affordable housing, whether it be through, distributing a formula for small infants, whether it be food or clothes, etc. These people need to know that there's a reason why they have ended up the way they are, and that there's a reason why the system has failed them. And so, in our efforts, we also want to bring together the community. We want to bring together the community, rallying behind the cause of working class power.
What kind of a commitment is this for people who want to be a part of the group?
Well, I would say, you kind of make your own commitment. It's whatever you are able to contribute. The reason why we organize is because obviously all of us need a work job. This economic system requires that we do so. It requires that we sell our labor. And so when some can't, let's say, perform a duty, others step in. And I would say we only require attending the meeting every month and attending whatever committee meeting every month that the person who decides to join so chooses to be in. So, we have a variety of committees, whether it be publications, addressing the masses, or whether it be our membership committee, vetting and talking to new intake, or whether it be our education committee or a mutual aid committee, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so it sounds like you're very organized. You have somebody keeping minutes, and you an agenda for the meeting and everything.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd like to think we're on the right track as far as our organizing capability.
Do you feel comfortable telling us what time and where you meet, or?
Well, I'd say if you'd like to sign up to be a Red Republican, you can go to the Red Republicans is it .com or .org? I believe it's .com, and we have a sign up sheet there. You'll be emailed a time to meet either in person or over Zoom, just to get a feel for what you're interested in, what you believe in, and whether or not you like to be a part of this. From there, it's just a matter of just answering a few simple questions and going over just a few pieces of our program, and then you'd be able to participate however you'd like.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the things that were peculiar or very unique to your situation, and what are things that can be applied anywhere?
By my situation, do you mean the Treasure Valley, or do you mean me
Yeah,
personally? The Treasure Valley.
like
All right.
yeah, the treasure.
Well, I'd say out in the Treasure Valley, we have a lot more rural areas than I would say some more developed coastal regions, like Washington, Oregon, or California, or what have you. And there's the necessity of making a clear alliance with small farmers. Naturally, every 4, 6, 8 years, there's a boom and bust cycle, and small farmers and business owners are naturally hurt by this. Businesses, 90% of them go bankrupt in 15 years. Small farmers, they're constantly gobbled up by these large agricultural corporations, whether it be Simplot, whether it be Monsanto. And as these large corporations begin to buy out land near these small farmers, the property taxes rise drastically, and they're forced to sell essentially these small plots that these farmers have lived on for generations. It is as much of a part of them as their arms and legs. I mean, their ancestors and their grandfathers and predecessors died and worked and sweat and bled in that land, and now they're forced to give it up simply due to these large corporations wanting 10, 20 acres that really won't impact their profitability, but by much. And it's necessary to explain to and talk to small farmers that their legacy and their way of life is threatened but by these large corporations, and it is only necessary that they ally with this historic mission of the working class in order to preserve and maintain their way of life.
What advice would you give to those who want to join or start a mutual aid group?
What I would say is talk to your community. Go into workplaces, talk to people who are homeless, etc., and find out what they need. Find out how the system is failing them in their specific area. If you're able to do so, draft a program of these issues, and find like-minded individuals who are passionate about mutual aid. It doesn't matter if they aren't well read in the subject; they can become well read, read together, find out what works for your own material conditions, and go forth and actualize on it.
Okay. All right. Do you have any any special activities coming up, or anything that you want to invite people to, or anything like that?
So if you're living out in the Treasure Valley, we're going over to the on Monday, on Labor Day weekend, on Labor Day, that following Monday after Labor Day weekend, we're going to the AFL-CIO picnic. We're going and talking to union folk. If you want to come out, if you want to come talk to us, if you want to have have a nice meal, feel free to do so. We'll be there. You'll be able to find that on the Treasure Valley's AFL-CIO website, exactly where that is. And come on out and talk to us.
All right, great. Well, that's all I have for you today. Is there anything else you want to put out there?
John, oh, sorry, I believe the microphone was muted for a second there. I don't believe so, John. I believe this has been a very lovely interview. Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on.
Of course, yeah.
All right, you have a good day.
You too.